Like, that part out. Jump that part in there. What is this? They don't have colors on them anymore.
It's crazy. It was like $5. They was like, we just gonna give you these colors and you just gonna take them with no name. Okay. We're gonna start.
It's gonna take a lot of
Are
training.
you a Virgo?
I am a Virgo.
Oh fuck. Okay. You probably are like really well put together. I'm so not. Okay. What's your name?
My name is Cierra Crossan, for the full name. Cierra Renee Crossan. I'm 28 years old.
Okay. So Cierra, who are you on a soul level?
I am. Wow. I've never been asked that before. Let's see, which way do I want to attack this question? I think on a soul level, I am soft. Just
Tell me
very
about
soft.
that. That probably sounds crazy. So I don't talk about that. But like literally, what does that mean?
Like that, I feel like that's such like, I have to give like just as an abstract answer. But that's the first thing that came to me. So I guess soft describes my nature, and it also describes my composure, my composition, in the sense of like, I try to tread lightly in this world. I try not that I don't find the necessity of conflict, but I try not to enter conflict just arbitrarily. So, I think softness speaks to just like a presence, a spirit that's just here to absorb, to engage, to give, to exist, and to like not chop the water.
Wow. That's amazing. Is there anything, I don't know, that's happened in your past or anything in the world or about the world that has made you feel like I should tread lightly, like I should carry myself as a soft person?
I think there's enough competition in the world. I feel like that we are all constantly finding ourselves. We're all constantly working towards a goal. And sometimes that journey can be violent. Sometimes that journey can be difficult, hard, painful. And there's beauty to the journey as well. But for the most part, I'd say those journeys are hard because they're supposed to be. You need to learn lessons, and sometimes the only way to do that is through hardship. So that being said, since there's so much of that already in our atmosphere, it's just like, once you've gone through that part of your journey and you're aware of those differences and energies and differences and frequencies, and it's just like, well, let's elevate and let's just be soft. Let's be soft so that we can contribute a balance to all of that conflict, all of that angst and violence and just internal turmoil. There needs to be a balance. So I guess that's my way of trying to add balance to the spaces that I exist in. Because I don't think people are people are cognizant of it, but I think that people aren't intentional about it. Like, you can walk into a room and you can feel the energy, but it's just like, what are you doing to help correct that energy? What are you doing to try and offset that energy? And so, like, I do my very best, especially when it comes to work. Work can be very, like, aggressive. Like, nurses are terrible people. They're amazing people, but they're terrible people.
Yeah.
And you come into, I work float pool, so I go in different units. So you come into a different unit that's not your home unit. You're a foreigner there, and sometimes you walk into some really aggressive energy, and it's just like, I'm gonna be the calm in the storm,
right?
Because we need that. And I've been in situations where I've been very much aware of how people respond to it. And so I've tried to continue that because I think that's something that I do well. And I think that it's contagious, and that's my hope, that people would just kind of adopt that viewpoint and adopt that nature and just, again, help to try to bring balance to everything.
Okay. I love that. Okay, so there are 3 categories, and I'm going to get you to pick which means the most, or which group of things means the most to you, and which group of things means the least to you, or applies least to your life.
Okay.
Okay, so the first group is love, sex, and relationships. The second group is society, culture, and politics. And the third group is spirituality and religion. Now, I know a lot of these things are polar opposites of each other as well. So, depending on who you are, you can mix and match these things if you would like as well. I just want to know, out of those things, which mean the most to you, and which are you kind of like separated from?
Definitely disengaged from politics, even prior to the current administration. Just it's interested me. Like, I try to stay abreast because, like, I like to be informed, but I wouldn't call myself an engaged consumer of political press. Like, it's just not something that's a priority for me.
Is there a reason, or you're just not, it doesn't click?
It goes back to, like, so it's not, it's more of like I'd say apathy, but I don't think that's the correct term. Yeah, actually, that might be the best. Like, I'm just kind of apathetic. Like, it just... I like to keep my personal sphere as free and clear of things that things that I can't control as much as possible. If I can't personally manipulate it, like, I'm naturally disinterested in it. If there's nothing, if I don't feel, and, I vote, I volunteer, but it's like, if I don't feel like I can physically change it, then it's just like, meh, So, like, I think that's where that comes from. Part of it's intentional, part of it's not. So that's definitely low on the totem pole. Society, again, not really intentionally, but, like, that's also lower on the totem pole. And it's also, it just comes down to, for me personally, people can be silly. And people can be exhausting and draining. True. And I've realized that, like, I engage when I want to engage, and that works for me. When I don't want to engage, I don't. I withdraw, and that's perfectly fine. I don't have to explain it.
Right.
People have stopped asking me for explanations, and I'm like, great, because it's not changing anytime soon. Like, this is just how I operate, and for my own sanity and for the way I function, it's going to continue that way. So politics, society, kind of working backwards here.
No, it's fine.
The 3, I'm supposed to give 3.
You can, like...
Or whichever.
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
Love is definitely up there for me, on different levels. Like, it's always been a draw for me because I think for a long time, and I think that my experience is similar to other people, for a long time, romantic love was the only definition I knew. And I think that's pretty common. That's very common.
Right.
And as I got older and began to experience different types of relationships and different types of people, friends, partners, what have you, then I started to think more critically about love and what we call love and how we experience love, and just started to dissect it into a better understanding. Love of self, for sure. Like, I took an entire, like, almost year sabbatical from dating to just understand love of self, because it was so important for me. I don't know, it's weird that, like, my perception and my growth as a human being is so associated with love. And a lot of people are pretty flippant And I think that that's something that should change, because it's an experience that can't be confined, can't be defined. There's levels to it. Like, it's like there has to be like a science to love. There is a science to love. There's definitely a science to love. So love is definitely something that interests me. Spirituality, also very important to me.
What does your spiritual life look like?
Whatever it wants to be that day. For real. So spirituality, it's come a long way. I, like many other people, was raised in, I was
like, what song is that?
I was raised in a church household, primarily by my mother. She took us to church every week, and it didn't leave a lot of room for me to explore my own thoughts on religion and spirituality until really early adulthood. That's kind of when I got to a point of comfort in a lot of things: my sexuality, my beliefs, my motivations. But that's when I started to just kind of like figure out what worked for me. Like, I've always believed in God, but I've never subscribed to the idea that my God has to be limited, that my God has to, that I have to find my God in a scripture, that I have to find my God in a specific prayer, that I have to find my God. Like, I go to yoga and I call it church because that's where I find God sometimes. So my spirituality is really connected to wherever, in whatever moment I find space and opportunity to be connected with the higher power. If that's in the middle of an orgasm, if that's in wherever I am, like, I connect with it. Like, I'm okay with it because that's where God is to me at that moment. And I'm like, that's how I feel it. That's where I feel it. So
that's awesome. That's so special and beautiful. I love that. Okay, so I'm gonna get you to draw something. I know you have your tea in your hand, but I get everyone to create something as they, So I'm gonna get you to pick some colors. You can pick multiple or one, but I want you to pick a color that represents your mood right now, and a color that just represents like you as a person, i.e. your entire life, I guess, which may be kind of hard, which is why I said you can pick multiple. I'm gonna turn to a blank page.
throws said marker.
It's cool. Okay, so what are these colors and why did you pick them?
So this is me all the time. What is this?
I don't even know if
They don't have colors on them anymore.
It's crazy. It was like $5. They was like, we just gonna give you these colors and you just gonna take them with no name.
I was like hoping for like some inspiration from the title. It's gonna have like a dope ass name like Depth Green or something.
Oh, you just gave it a name. Take note, crazy art.
Well, let's see. I green centers me. Green obviously is synonymous with like earthly things, but like that's where I feel comfortable,
connected to it. Yeah.
I feel grounded by green. Green grounds me. Blue, this specific shade of blue though. Yeah, it's like a ocean, deep ocean blue, cerulean. I don't know. Anyways, navy. Anywho's, this is
Is that your mood right now?
This is my mood right now, and I'm trying to state why. Maybe if I start, can I start?
Yeah.
Let me see.
Sure.
I'm also often drawn to blues as I start to draw waves. I think the blue is it's comfortable for me. It's comfortable. I find that it's kind of habitual too for me. Like I tend to be drawn to things that are comfortable. Hence the cozy pants and the cozy head wrap. So it's like if this were a clothing item right now, like this would be like the cardigan shawl that just complements this entire fit that I have going on. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So first question, what makes you the most upset?
I get upset when I experience an individual or have an experience with an individual where they don't push themselves. I refer to experiences with my patients a lot, like my PATIENTS patients, because when I'm at work and dealing with human beings, like that's when I typically see the aspects of my personality that I don't see very often come out, negative and positive. And I find it very frustrating when I encounter adults who won't do or can't do for themselves and they're not physically limited. I think that like half the time I just want to tell them like there's people dying out here.
Right. Seriously.
Like there's people dying out here and you just won't do for you. And I can't get myself in that mental space. And that's even outside of my work environment. Like that's probably the one thing that really truly does upset me. Like I just don't understand people who just won't do, people who won't question, people who won't push, people who won't strive. And it's a mental laziness. It's a mental laziness that like really drives me up the wall. Because information is so easy to obtain now, and it's just like why just why. But yeah, I'm kind of on a tangent there.
Okay, no problem. Good answer. What excites you more than anything?
I get excited. I get excited by the idea of a wonderful day with my partner, with my girlfriend. It sounds really like, but I really cherish that I can be excited to share the same space, like living space with someone, and still be just as excited to be engaged and do activities with an individual that I call my best friend, my lover, my other half. It feels new all the time, every time. And it's weird. It's surreal to actually be able to experience that when in the past, like I've thought that I was experiencing it, and then you look back and you're just like, oh, sis. Bitch, nah, that one even.
Yeah.
So that's exciting for me.
That's so cute. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. So I'm not crying, you're crying. Okay. What are you most afraid of?
my gut answer is dying a painful death. Like, specifically a car accident. I don't know why. But on a more, like, introspective level, I think that trying to find the balance between doing what feels good and finding purpose and finding happiness and doing things because I feel like it's expected of me. That's something I've always grappled with. We're raised to be these exceptional individuals. But what is that exceptional individual? What does that exceptional individual look like?
Okay.
I want to be okay with my own standard of exception. I want to be comfortable with that. And my fear is that I will not get to that point where I will be comfortable with the things I've done in my life. And saying, like, yes, I made a difference. Yes, I was this caliber of a person. And even if I wasn't, like, I want to be okay with that too. You know what I mean? I want to be okay with having a flexible term of exception or definition of exception. I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does. It makes all of the sense. Don't even worry about it. Okay. Do you have any weird habits?
Yes. I have a lot of weird habits.
What are they?
Let's see. I usually like turn conversation into song, or will just like, I don't know, just like really impulsive. I don't just be going through my day and just like, like, I don't know, like, just be going through my day and, you know, if a song strikes me or like I'm talking to a patient, I'm just like, this is your new medication. Like, I don't know. You're going to take this for the rest of your life. Like, okay.
She's like, okay, girl.
All right, girl. I wish they were that cool about it. They usually just kind of stare at me and I walk out uncomfortably.
She just like moonwalk out. Like, bye.
Bye. I know I do a whole bunch of other weird shit. Like, it's hard to think about the weird shit you do when you're not doing that weird shit.
Right.
I'm trying to think of like my normal 24-hour day. Like, wake up. I like to walk around with like Winnie the Pooh style. I don't know if that's like a weird habit or if that's
What?
just
What
like,
is Winnie the Pooh style?
So just a shirt and no drawers.
Oh. I thought you meant this weird like waddle. like one leg, both legs never on the floor at the same time.
And then just I don't know. I find my body parts doing different things and my mind's not even attached or associating with what's happening. Like, you know, just like little things like what's happening right now. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. What is your favorite song ever?
Switching it up.
Like, I'm just gonna get off of that.
The first song, my favorite song ever is the first song that I ever memorized all the words to, and that is the Fugees' version of Strumming My Pain.
Sing that for people who don't know it.
Strumming my pain with his fingers.
One time.
Singing my life with his words. Do that. Get it?
Yay, oh my gosh, you can sing. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay, so how do you feel about social media? What are your thoughts on social media?
Social media is cool. I'm not the person who's just like, I would not, like, I could, you know, like, I spend a lot of time on social media, more than I should. Definitely less than I used to. I think it has its uses. I'm not on Facebook because my family basically, like, my family's annoying. Like my mom posted this one picture of us in Paris, and like I had like this bodysuit on and my boot. Like there was like I barely have breasts, so like the little bit of cleavage that was popping out, they were just like, "Oh my god, why are your breasts out?" I'm just like, y'all, I'm standing in front of the fucking Eiffel Tower. Like, can y'all talk about the Eiffel Tower? Why y'all zoning? Like, we're my uncle. Why are you looking at my titties?
Yeah.
Anyways,
Can't live on Facebook.
Can't live on Facebook. So I was like, Ma, don't post me anymore. So not on Facebook, because Facebook is messy. But I think social media has its purpose. Like, I think it's great that I can engage with people that I would normally engage with. Like people who have moved that I've known from periods of time in the past. But I'm interested to see what our world looks like if we get here, because our planet is dying. I'm interested to see what our world looks like in like 20 years. Now that social media has like become, not even 20 years, like a lesser plane, like 10 years. I feel the worst for generations, not even like specifically kids that are in high school now, because they have such a thwarted sense of reality. Like, how do you understand what the world is when your only perception of it is through what you see on Instagram or what you see or hear on Twitter? It's just, I guess this is what it feels like to get older.
Yeah.
Like, this is probably like what our parents and folks before us like have thought and felt, and maybe it won't be as bad as I anticipate, but actual human engagement is just going to be so different, and I'm not looking forward to it, nor do I don't know. I don't know if there's a way to curtail it. Like, it just is what it is at this point. We about to just find out. We about to just be like out here.
So I mean, while we're on this subject, I want you to tell me what you think will restore connection, and that's a big question because everyone's so different. So maybe just in our generation, like, because I feel like the one before us is kind of just done. They're set in their ways, you know. Exactly. But like, what can we do in your eyes to, you know, further try to understand each other and get rid of this, you know, fear of the future?
In a perfect world, like, I'd like to see the whole influencer brand go away. I'd like to just see that just completely disappear. I don't know. I know where it came from. I was going to say I don't know where it came from. Like, I do know where it came. Like, I saw it happen. Like, we all saw it happen.
Yeah. Yep.
We all saw it evolve. And it's just frightening. It's so scary. One, that people aspire to be, and let me quantify. So, like, for me, the type of influencer that I'm talking about right now in this conversation are the ones that are like literally making these videos solely for profit and not to help benefit anyone or anything.
Right.
And it gets an awesome platform if you're using it for the betterment of other people. Like, I think that any action that doesn't have, there are justifiable selfish actions, like get your coin, get your bread, whatever. Right. But when your prerogative is solely to better yourself and it doesn't matter what you're giving back or what you're doing or who you're affecting, like, I can't get with that. Right. And I feel like that's the majority of the influencers that we see out. And
it's all self-based.
Exactly, right. So in a perfect world, I'd like to see that go. I'd like to see us use social media for like true engagement. Like, I follow some amazing women who like, I don't know if you're Cierra, I forget her last name, and I'm like hating myself, but her Instagram handle is Politics and Fashion. Amazing woman. breast cancer survivor, barely in her 30s.
Wow.
But she uses her platform to engage with people. Like, it's not, I've done this, I know this, I've experienced this, like, here, let me spit this at you. It's like, nah, sis, like, I felt this. I've, like, I want you to be able to, like, she's human.
Yes.
She's human about it. It's not this whole, like,
I'm planning my post
exactly.
based on what's trending.
She's human about it, and it gives it a whole different spin. It gives it a whole different effect. And so if you're going to influence, like, that's cool. I'd rather see that type of influencing.
Okay. Are you self-conscious about anything?
I mean, yeah. I think I catch myself being most self-conscious about my appearance. I don't think it's super unique, but it's the truth.
Why?
Why don't I think it's super unique?
No, why are you self-conscious
about my
your
appearance? I'm super critical by nature. And
Virgo.
yeah. On the nose. And, you know, some days are good and some days are not. Some days I wake up and I just don't, like, something's just not in it's just not Cierra. It's just not it. And when those days happen, like, that's all I can focus on. That's all my mental is on. Like, when something's just not quite in line, and not even internally, like, it's external most times, and that triggers the internal, then, like, that's all I can really focus on. Sometimes it'll be my forehead. Sometimes it'll be what I have on, because as much as I aspire to be a badge on, like, I always throw on high-waisted pants and, like, cozy shit.
Which is still very cute, by the way.
Which I'm, like, you know, growing to, like, I've grown and I've learned that, like, that's just where I feel at home, and I should be okay with that.
Comfy
but it's just, like, sometimes you just be looking like you were scrolling on Fashion Nova and you're just like, I could rock that, and then you get it and you put it on, you're like,
You're like, those girls don't think.
This ain't it.
Their bodies are their bodies.
No, they aren't. Yeah, I stopped ordering from there for other reasons as well, but just, like, yeah, like, it's just, so, yeah, I do get self-conscious about my external, yeah. But you know, like, you're like, I want to be a bad bitch and, like,
oh my God,
wear, like, the stuff and then be like, sexy. But it's like, no, I put it on and just like, nah, this ain't it. You're not sexy, sis. Like, you're cute. Stay in your lane. Like, it's okay. So, I mean, that's why it's important to, I mean, it's not the end all be all, but it's helpful to have a partner that reminds you, like, nah, you sexy in your high-waisted granny pants, and your hospital socks, and your head wraps. But even without that, like, I would still, it's like, as much as I'm aware of it, like, it's something that I still work on it. Like, I still work on it independently. It's not fair to myself.
Right.
And it's stupid.
Yeah.
It's just, you know, it's dumb.
Yeah, you look great, kid.
Do better, Cece.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. What do you have to say to the world?
Sorry. This is like my formulating face, like just that.
Oh my God, I forgot to ask you what face explains you, but I feel like
this one that I've been going to the entire time. Yep, that's it.
I totally forgot.
This one.
Okay. Glad that we got that out. Put that in there.
This is it right here. Like contemplative, trying to figure out what my brain. There's like, the way my mind works is ridiculous because it takes there's so much cooking, and then this doesn't function. So it's like I gotta like, there's a delay.
Yeah.
I want people to do less and say less.
Do less
and say less. I think I really want people to just slow down. Because I have slowed down a considerable amount, and I'm all the more better for it. I think that it's really unfortunate that we live in a culture where we feel like, just kind of touching back on what I was trying to articulate earlier, we live in a culture where we feel like we constantly have to prove ourselves. And for most times, proving ourselves means doing a lot of things or saying a lot of things. And it's not always necessary. You can focus your energy into one thing and it be magnificent and beautiful. You can focus your energy into saying a simple sentence and it be so impactful and so abstract and bring people's attention to things that they've never even thought about focusing on. Yeah, just like, just do less, say less.
I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This was amazing.
I drew a tree.
Yeah, show me the tree. This tree fantasy. Looks like a Christmas tree. What is that? What is it? Hold it up a little bit more so people can see the whole thing.
It's hard for me. I couldn't.
That is like...
It's a fir.
It's a fir tree. And I'm like, wow, like
and I'm probably
chinchilla tree.
You're like, faux fur?
I'm like, oh, like fur.
No, I don't, I guess this is me in the woods. And the woods are my words.
I love it.
And this is me.
So avant-garde.
Trying to, stand out amidst the word soup that's occurring during this entire video. Boom. That's probably the most concise and articulate thing I've said this entire time.
No, it's not.
Boom. This is Cierra in the flesh.
Cool.